Okay guys, so we're back in the dragon's lair, and today we're going to be doing chest. Now one thing that I want to touch base on a lot of chest exercises, you will bring into play biomechanically and because of gravity, especially when it comes to pressing movements, you are going to engage your shoulders. Today I'm going to help you guys and girls out there to get over the issues of bringing your front delt into play and maximizing that stress and load directly on your chest cavity. Now, I'm sure that most of you at some point when you've been doing chest have found that when you're doing pressing exercises or even high rep flies or any exercise like that, you bring and engage your front deltoid. How will I know that? Because you will feel stress, load. You will also find that the area is under tension and you'll get a burning sensation. The problem is when you train chest and you engage your shoulder, it's very, very difficult to disconnect that area once you've engaged it. So I'm really lucky that I've got one of my clients, online clients in from town. Adam's been working with me now probably for about a year and a half or so, yes? This is the first time we met, so it's just worked out really, really great because obviously we're in the Dragon's Lair. Today is the grand opening of the Dragon's Lair. Adam's actually flown into town, so we're super lucky that he is going to be joining me with this workout. The first exercise we're going to get on to is actually going to be a pec deck. We're going to really concentrate on squeeze and contracting. If we isolate and break down our chest cavity at the very beginning of the workout, which we are obviously with this isolation movement, but it's also a great, great mass building exercise, guys and girls. Once we've created a weakness, that stress and load is more likely to stay there. So anyway, enough of the talking, let's get on with the workout. So before I start this exercise, I'm actually going to selectively change these pins adjustments and bring them into a position which actually work for me. Now, obviously people biomechanically movement patterns is going to be different for one person to another. So I'm not saying for one minute that this is the position that I'm going to stay in and Adam's going to stay in the same position, because his movement patterns, obviously he's got longer limbs, whereas attachments are actually placed are going to be slightly different to me. It's really important that when you do any exercise, you make sure you go through a full range of motion. But at the same time, as I said, you have an attachment point, you have an origin point, and you have a fixed point. It's super important that when you train chest, you don't exert too much stress and pressure by overstretching the joint. You want to keep that chest into play as long as you possibly can. So even that you want to get in a position where you're stretched, you don't want to go to the point where your joint is overloaded, because once you overload that joint, it's going to create trauma, it's going to create stress, and that's where your weakness is going to be, directly within the shoulder area, okay? So your range of motion is full, but not to a point where you're overexerting excess stress on the shoulder joint. Okay, just remember with warm-up sets, they're not in the program as a means for you to go to failure. They're there just for priming reasons. Warm up the joint, connective tissue, get some synovial fluid taking place, get some blood activation, muscle fiber activation, and start getting those pathways firing. Super important. So I'm going to go into my first working set now. So I've done 4 warm-up sets. It's really important that before you go into any working set, you put yourself in a stable mental space as far as your mindset. Think about something that really pisses you off, because that's going to probably bring the best out of you. So I'm just getting my thoughts together now, and I'm going to jump into my first working set. Okay guys, so we finished our first exercise, which obviously was seated pec deck fly. Now we're going to go on to our first pressing movement, compound movement. I'm going to progressively go warming up. I'm probably going to do about 2 to 3 warm-up sets at the most on this, because even though my chest cavity is broken down, you know, I'm reasonably strong on this piece of equipment, but I will need to make sure that I'm primed. I'm obviously my mind and my body is obviously in line with the movement, get the movement pattern obviously, you know, in line with what I'm trying to create here in the movements. I'm going to do my first warm-up set. There's only 2 plates aside. Again, it's irrelevant how much weight you can use. It doesn't mean anything, okay? Obviously you challenge yourself, but you use adaptation and your choices of the weight that you need to require to reach your own personal goals. When I was pressing on my warm-up set, I was coming down to the fully extended position where I cannot come any further. One, because obviously my elbow shoulder won't come back any further. And secondly, because the weight was bottom out. So I'm using a full range of motion. I'm squeezing and contracting. I'm not pressing through my delt, I'm squeezing through my chest. Okay, so this is our first working set now. I've already explained already, always go with your maximum weight on your first working set. That's when you're going to be at your strongest, okay? So mentally and physically you're going to be at your strongest. Every single working rep that you do, you're going to mentally deplete yourself from energy, physically and mentally. Got to stay mentally strong. But this machine is a machine that actually you can use quite a bit of weight on there in relationship to some other exercises. But when I perform this exercise, I'm going to be engaging my chest cavity fully. You're also going to notice I'm not going to go quite so deep, okay? I'm not going too shallow where I'm actually not bringing the full chest cavity into play. I am, but I'm not going to a point where I'm actually bringing my shoulder joint into play. I failed then pretty much midpoint from that last repetition because I got to pretty much failure point on the rep before. I felt like if I put 100% into that last repetition I was going to be able to get that last rep, but I didn't. I'm really happy and productive with that working set. I lost probably about 15% of my strength on that last working set compared to the first working set, but I got a huge amount of positive stress in my chest. This is something obviously exactly what I'm looking to achieve on this workout today. Okay guys and girls, we're going to go on to our third exercise, which is now going to be incline dumbbell fly. making sure we exploit that stress and load on our chest by making sure that we are keeping that eccentric to about 2 to 3 seconds, engaging and squeezing throughout the whole of the movement. Remember, your starting point as far as eccentric isolation contraction is this position. From here, you can contract right the way through to your peak contraction, and then you're going to be controlled. So from this position, extended, fully extended position, from here, squeeze, 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 contract, disconnect, control, okay?
It's been a great workout with Neil. I finally made it down here to train with him. Did a couple of chest exercises. Really got to say I feel a total difference from what I normally do to what Neil showed me today, and it's been an amazing workout.
So guys, listen, I hope that you've extracted some great information. Obviously, we can only educate and throw so much out there in one workout, because even though we may be able to do 5, 6, 7 different exercises, it won't be productive, because obviously your chest is like any other muscle group. Once you've broken it down to its full capacity, then over that point does not allow further development of that muscle. You create a negative environment taking place. And so obviously super important that you make sure you hydrate yourself and get your post-workout supplements into you as soon as you finish your workout. For me, as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna get 1.5 scoops of my re-cage in. I'm also gonna actually add some extra Hydra Charge. I love that product. I'm gonna take that in. And then about 35 to 40 minutes after that, I'm actually gonna get my post-workout meal in, which is gonna be my white potato, my red meat, my greens. I'm also gonna get a bit of avocado. Anyway, we're gonna put obviously the full workout in there, rep range, eccentric, resting periods between working sets. Everything's gonna be in this video for you from KAGEDMUSCLE.com, so make sure you keep checking out the website every single week. I'm really looking forward to helping everybody out there with my knowledge and time, and giving my experience to everybody out there, obviously, who are following the product line, and everybody else which isn't actually, doing their own thing. Extract the information from me, and also definitely people like Adam, because he's been training obviously for a length of time now, probably a long period of time. But I hope that he's extracted and learned something different.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely learned a lot. I've been doing this for 28 years. Okay. I started out when I was a little kid, and it's been amazing. I've learned new things today. You're always learning. You can never stop learning in this sport.
Anyway, guys, as I said, make sure you check out www.KAGEDMUSCLE.com. See you guys and girls very soon.